Welcome to the biology class. In this video, we are going to learn the structure and functions of different parts of brain. Human brain is an important organ. It controls various other systems of our body. The brain is made up of a soft tissue, so it needs more protection. Brain is protected by the hard covering skull. Skull is a hard covering that protects the brain. Apart from the skull, inside the skull, the brain is protected by three membranes called as meninges. Meninges are membrane coverings. There are three membrane coverings around the brain. The outer one is dura mater. Dura mater has close contact with the skull. The middle one is arachnoid membrane. Arachnoid, the word is related to spider. In the middle membrane, the blood vessels grow like spider's web. So the name is arachnoid membrane. And the inner membrane is pia mater. Pia mater has close contact with the brain. It is a soft membrane. The pia mater is immediately found around the brain. It is a soft membrane. And the middle membrane arachnoid. The outer membrane is dura mater. Dura mater is a tough membrane. The middle membrane is a vascularized membrane. It has more blood vessels. Pia mater is a soft one. Human brain is formed of three main parts. They are forebrain, midbrain, and hindbrain. Forebrain has two regions. They are cerebrum and diencephalon. Diencephalon has two important structures. The two important structures in the diencephalon are dorsal thalamus and ventral hypothalamus. Thalamus is found at the top of diencephalon. The lower part of diencephalon has hypothalamus. Let us see the cerebrum in detail. Cerebrum is the largest portion of human brain. It is made up of two cerebral hemispheres. It is made up of two half hemispheres. The two cerebral hemispheres are separated by a median cleft. A median cleft separates the two cerebral hemispheres. The two cerebral hemispheres are connected with each other by nervous bridge, that is corpus callosum. Corpus callosum is a nervous bridge that connects the two cerebral hemispheres. Communication between two cerebral hemispheres take place through corpus callosum. Corpus callosum helps the exchange of information between two cerebral hemispheres. Right and left hemispheres exchange information through corpus callosum. The outer part of cerebral cortex is gray in color. The outer part of cerebrum is cortex. It is gray in color. The inner part of cerebrum is cerebral medulla, that is white color. The surface of the cerebrum is not smooth. It has ridges and furrows. The ridges are called as gyri, plural gyri, singular gyrus. And the furrows are called as sulci. The gyri and sulci are ridges and furrows. They increase the surface area of the brain. The brain surface area is increased by the ridges and furrows. Cerebrum has four functional regions. They are frontal lobe, parietal lobe, temporal lobe, and occipital lobe. The front part is frontal lobe, and the top part is parietal lobe, and the side temporal and the back part is occipital lobe. These are the four functional areas. If any one of the area is damaged, the particular function will be affected. Now let us see the specific function of cerebrum. Cerebrum is responsible for various functions. Memory, it is a storage of information in the brain. Imagination, it is the ability to form picture in mind about something. Developing picture in mind about something is called as imagination. Reasoning, thinking about something in a logical way is reasoning. Memory, imagination, reasoning are due to the cerebrum. Willpower is also controlled by cerebrum. It is the ability to resist short-term temptations in order to meet long-term goals. Thinking, intelligence, and consciousness is also due to cerebrum. The opposite of consciousness is unconsciousness. When a person is unconscious, he is unaware of what is going on around himself. Diencephalon is found at the floor of the cerebrum. It has two parts, thalamus and hypothalamus. The upper part of diencephalon is thalamus and the lower part of diencephalon is hypothalamus. Thalamus is present in cerebral medulla. Cerebral medulla is the central part of cerebrum. This is a side view of brain, section view. When the brain is cut into two, we can find this view. Here, this is thalamus, and the lower part of thalamus, that is hypothalamus. Now let us see the functions of thalamus. It is a major conducting center for sensory and motor signaling. Sensory informations are sent by eyes, ear, nose, tongue. These informations are conducted through thalamus. Motor signaling is conducted through thalamus. What are motor signals? The brain is sending command for the working of various organs. That is motor signaling. Sensory and motor signaling pass through the thalamus. And thalamus acts as relay center. Relay center receives the signal and transmits the signal. Thalamus receives signal from various organs and sends the signal to various parts of the brain. So it is a relay center. Hypothalamus is found below the thalamus. It is found at the base of the thalamus. It controls involuntary functions. Voluntary functions are under the thinking of humans. Involuntary functions are not under our thinking. Hunger, thirst, sleep, sweating are the involuntary functions controlled by hypothalamus. Water balance, blood pressure is controlled by hypothalamus. Normal level of water is maintained. The blood pressure is kept normal by hypothalamus. It acts as a thermoregulatory center of the body. Temperature regulation is called as thermoregulation. It maintains body temperature. Hypothalamus regulates body temperature. Hypothalamus also controls the mood-related behavior. It controls mood-related behaviors like anger and fear. Hypothalamus controls the secretion of hormones from anterior pituitary. Pituitary gland has two regions, anterior pituitary, posterior pituitary. Pituitary gland is the central part of endocrine system. The pituitary gland itself is controlled by hypothalamus. So hypothalamus acts as a link between nervous system and endocrine system. Pituitary gland is the controlling center of endocrine system. The pituitary gland is controlled by hypothalamus. So hypothalamus acts as the link between nervous system and endocrine system. Midbrain is located between thalamus and hindbrain. What is the location of midbrain? It is located in between thalamus and hindbrain. The midbrain has four rounded bodies in the backside. The dorsal portion of the midbrain consists of four rounded bodies called as Corpora quadrigemina. Corpora quadrigemina are four rounded bodies found on the dorsal part of midbrain. The corpora quadrigemina controls reflex activities. It controls visual and auditory reflexes. What are visual reflexes? Reflexes are involuntary activities. Involuntary activities are not due to our thinking. Without our thinking, some activities take place. They are involuntary activities. They are called as reflex activities. When we look at a moving object near the eye, our eyelids close automatically. This is visual reflex. What is auditory reflex? When the ears are exposed to very loud noise, there is possibility of hearing loss. To prevent hearing loss, our eardrum makes adjustments and the small bone of ear makes adjustment so that hearing loss is prevented. This is auditory reflex. Hindbrain is formed of three regions: cerebellum, pons and medulla oblongata. Cerebellum, pons and medulla oblongata are the three parts of hindbrain. Let us see the parts one by one. Cerebellum is the second largest part of brain. It is formed of two large sized hemispheres and middle vermis. Cerebellum is formed of two hemispheres. Two hemispheres are connected by a bridge called as vermis. Cerebellum is the second largest part of the brain. The cerebellum coordinates voluntary movements. The right side and left side movements are coordinated by the cerebellum. And it also maintains body balance. While walking and running, while cycling, while dancing, a body balance is necessary, that is maintained by cerebellum. Alcohol affects the cerebellum, so alcoholic people show imbalanced movement. Pons acts as a nervous bridge. It is a bridge of nerve fiber that connects the lobes of cerebellum. The two lobes of cerebellum are connected by pons. Pons also relays signals between various parts of the brain. Relaying signal means receiving signal and sending signal. It relays signal between cerebellum, spinal cord, midbrain and cerebrum. It controls respiration and sleep cycle. Pons has respiratory center and sleep center. These centers control respiration and sleep cycle. Medulla oblongata is the last part of the brain. It is the posterior most part of the brain. Medulla oblongata continues as spinal cord. Medulla oblongata connects spinal cord and various parts of the brain. Spinal cord is connected to various parts of the brain by medulla oblongata. Medulla oblongata continues as spinal cord. It connects spinal cord to other parts of the brain. Medulla oblongata has various centers. These centers control involuntary activities. It has cardiac center. The cardiac center controls heartbeat. Respiratory center controls breathing. Vasomotor centers control the contraction of blood vessels. It also regulates swallowing, vomiting and salivation. Secretion of saliva inside the mouth is an involuntary activity. Vomiting is an involuntary activity. Swallowing is an involuntary activity. These are controlled by the centers of medulla oblongata. What is the largest part of brain? Cerebrum is the largest part of brain. It is made up of two hemispheres connected by corpus callosum. The second largest part of brain is cerebellum.